All the best players in the world make the golf swing look so smooth and effortless when it comes to hitting 3-woods off the deck. And time again, I see so many amateurs really struggle to get this movement and to get this ball then turf interaction with this club. We either see those top shots, those thin shots, because it's a really tricky club to be hitting off the deck. Well, I'm going to be showing you 3 common mistakes that I see most often in my lessons that are holding golfers back from hitting these things beautifully, just like the pros, every single time. And that's what we're looking at in today's video. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Harry, a golf teach professional, here to help you improve your golf game. So please do consider clicking that subscribe button and turning that bell icon to all so you don't miss out on any future content I upload, as it helps me produce more content just like this every single week. So the first mistake I see so many amateurs make when they're making the golf swing with the 3-wood or any wood, it could be the 5-wood, 3-wood, 7-wood in fact, is that when they make their way into the setup, they believe that they need to get the ball all the way up in the air, which is true. We're going to get that launch with the 3-wood, not necessarily that upward motion or downward motion, somewhere in the middle. So in order to do this, they end up setting up to the golf ball too far, with the ball too far ahead in the stance. Now the problem with this too far ahead in the stance is, we've mentioned this before on the channel, but the golf swing works on a big circle, swinging all the way up to the top, all the way down and through to finish. So if we were to attack this golf ball, we usually get the lowest part of the circle where it's in line with my left armpit, my lead armpit, your lead armpit when you're hitting golf shots like this. So if we were to just draw a line straight down here, this low point is probably going to be somewhere around where the 3-wood is here, isn't it? So after that point, the golf club is actually going to lift ever so slightly upwards. So we're more likely to hit those thin shots or top the golf shots as well. So what I would suggest for those of you at the moment who are setting up to the golf ball with the 3-wood, almost like a driver stance like this here, I would suggest just moving back a little bit more. Try somewhere almost in between the middle upper stance and the lead heel. Almost in the middle, maybe a touch favoring more to the lead heel side, just to help you connect with the golf ball, because the attack angle with the woods, we still want to be on that descending downward motion, but only by 1 or 2 degrees, favorably 1 degree. And to do this, we want that low point to be ever so slightly past the golf ball, ever so slightly past the golf ball. And that's going to help you get that strike, hit the golf ball right out the sweet spot first, and then get much better ball flights. What you notice for the second thing, if we have a look at some of the pros again on the screen here, what do you notice about the way they take the club back and bring it all the way down through to finish? They always have a really wide arc. So their width of arc from the backswing through to the downswing is nice and wide. When I see too many amateurs, when they make the way into the swing, they end up reducing this width of arc as they make the way up to the very top of the swing. So from here now, we do 2 things. We attack the golf ball and we keep our arms very close, causing those topped golf shots, or we push our arms and cast them out and end up hitting the ground too early. So mistake number 2 is the width of arc, keeping the width of arc too narrow as we make our way up to the top of the swing. So just to begin with, a great drill to get you out of this is taking the club away and placing your palms down to the ground, really pushing them down with the palms facing towards the ground like this here. We don't want our upper body to tilt over even more as we're pushing down. We just want to push the hands down so they're right underneath our chest muscles like this here until you can feel that added tension. Then we're pushing them away as much as we can until we get our back to face towards the target. And then as we make our way back down, we're pushing our hands down to the ground just behind the golf ball here rather than ahead. We're just pushing them back down to the golf ball and then through to finish, really forcing that extension of the arms a little bit more to help increase the width. So how does this look with the club? Taking both hands onto the golf club like so, setting up into our new stance with the ball position somewhere in between the middle of the stance and the lead heel. And as I make my way into the top of the swing, I'm really pushing my arms out and away from me like this here. And that's really going to encourage the width of arc to increase. And I'm still pushing them away, pushing my hands further away as I get my back to face towards the target. And look how much more width I've got at the very top of my swing, just like all the tour players do every single time they hit these woods. You never see them very narrow, very rigid up to the top of the swing with this lead arm flexed in this position here. You always see them with these great turns, great wide swings all the way up to the top. But don't forget, we've still got to push them down and away as we make our way down to hit the golf ball, to allow for that consistent arc to take place. And that's just going to make that ball striking a lot easier again. Now, before I reveal the third mistake, most common mistake I see, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors to the channel, GX Golf. They provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to its competitors out there on the market. You can use my discount code below, Harry10, to get yourself a great 10% discount on getting a bundled package of these golf clubs. So if you're in the market at any point to look at getting a new golf club, I'd recommend checking them out. And that brings us into the third mistake I see so many golfers make. So it's very similar to the way they position the ball in the stance, very similar to the first mistake I mentioned. However, it's all to do with the swing center, which is our sternum, the center of our chest. So how that we should see the swing center making a way into the downswing, making contact with that golf ball, is seeing that center point move back to the golf ball, directly in line with the golf ball if we were to draw a line from the center of my chest here, or ever so slightly ahead as we make contact with the golf ball. Too many amateurs, they'll get to the top of the swing even when they get this wide arc, and then they'll fire those hips, push those hips to target, and end up tilting backwards like this here. And that causes our sternum to shift further back and away from the golf ball. So again, because of this, we're more likely to hit the ground first, try and bring our arms too close, or end up releasing the club last minute to square things up. So in order for us to change this, a simple drill you can do is taking the club away and placing your hands either side like this here, and just rotating up to the top, same feeling like we did with the hands pushing away, getting that back facing towards the target. And as you start this downswing, I always like to have a little bit of a squat and then push upwards. But whatever it is you like to do, you want to make sure that as you're pushing through, you want to see that sternum ahead of the golf ball. You want to encourage more weight to shift, to push onto this left foot of yours sooner in the downswing. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. One of them, which I just mentioned just then, which is swinging up to the top, squatting down into both feet and then pushing back up off the right foot. I found most success with this working with my students on this, so you can give that a try. Another method we see so often is swinging up to the top, then pushing forward and then rotating through. And they're the two top ones that we see most often coaches teaching at the moment. So you can try those two, but I'm going to work with the first one because it's the one that I teach most often with my students. So with the club, got the right ball position, keeping that width in the swing. We've worked on that, let's just say, for over a couple of weeks, so we've nailed that in our golf swing. This final one is just working on getting that swing center to stay over the golf ball or past the golf ball. So the feeling for me is up to the top, press into the feet a little bit to start that transition, and we're pushing off from that right foot to push that sternum ahead of the golf ball. So really pushing off that foot. And that one is a strike. Look at that, straight down the middle. So just a quick recap before we end things. We've just been working on getting that ball position correct. Too many golfers have it too far forward, so just make sure you're bringing it back a touch to help improve the strike. The second thing is the width of arc. Don't worry about pushing those arms, pushing the club further out in the backswing and also the downswing. Again, to keep the swing consistent, to keep the arc consistent, and again, to help improve the ball striking. The final one, we've just been working on ensuring that that sternum is shifting a bit more ahead of the golf ball at impact, again, to improve the strike. So all of them there are to improve the strike, but if you'd like to see a more in-depth video on how to control what this 3-wood does in our golf swing, whether we want to be hitting a draw or fade with this club, be sure to comment down below. I want to see at least 30 comments in the comment section and I will do a video on this topic for you. But in the meantime, I'd highly recommend checking out this video over here, as YouTube thinks this video is the best one for you to watch next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.